I know we talked about this in the very first podcast. So to you, basically, so this whole UFO notion is dismissed completely as far as what you know, right? Like, as far as
can you like clarify that a bit? I don't exactly understand.
I mean, like, okay, as far as aliens living on different planets and coming here on UFOs, that kind of thing, do you dismiss that completely?
Yeah, I do. Pretty much, for the most part. I wouldn't say like these other realms and these other places, they're not physical. Some of them, maybe they have trees and another, I don't know how it all works, but the whole story about aliens coming from other planets, I don't believe that. I don't believe anything from NASA personally. Any concept that came out of NASA, I don't really believe it.
Well, like, different galaxies with their own, star systems, and their star systems, having inhabitable planets, and, these super advanced civilizations, that can, beat the speed of light or whatever. And I know you even talked about the speed of light also in the very first one. But basically to you, that whole concept is out of here, right? Like it's extra dimensional and that's it.
Yeah, like the whole planets, solar systems, they're living on the planets that you see in the sky and they're coming from there to us. I don't believe that. No.
But would you say there are perhaps maybe and exclusively in this universe a galaxy where maybe there's a planet that's inhabited?
I think there's whole other realms in the in the spiritual world, that have their own total different set of physics and beings and creatures that inhabit them. And it's like the whole bacteria analogy, you know what I mean? Like I have no idea how it could all work. I don't know. I wouldn't discount everything like that,
As far as our solar system goes, though, you think, like, because I even heard theories that, like, maybe Jupiter is inhabited even right now, but there are beings that, or even Mars or Jupiter or whatever, but maybe there are beings, that I don't know how to like mash it together, because it's like it is another planet, but maybe these beings are living in a dimension that we cannot see, but for some reason it's connected to a certain planet.
I think, let me put it this way. Okay, when you look up at the sky and what you see up there, I think what's really there is totally different from what NASA has got us to think. I don't think you look up in the sky and you see, oh, that's Mars, right? But then they show you they did some voyage to Mars, and Mars is like this physical ball. I don't think that is real at all.
Ooh, so please break that down. So this is so freaking interesting, man. So, I mean, you're not saying that we're on a flat Earth, right?
I would say, for me personally, I used to believe in the Earth being a ball, and there were two reasons which I believed were absolute proof that you couldn't deny, and that was my proof. And one of them was that there are pictures from space, right? And I thought they were real. Updated. And the other I'm sorry?
Updated, like NASA has the website where it's constantly updated, right?
I thought basically NASA's, especially like those pictures that were really famous from Voyager. You see that one picture everywhere. You probably know, you have it in your brain right now. You know the one I'm talking about.
Yes, I popped up right away, man.
Yeah, and the other thing was, when you look at the sea and you see the ship disappear over the horizon, they always say that, well, that's the curvature of the Earth. That proves the Earth is curved and it's a ball. And the problem was, I just took their word for it, right? But I actually looked at that concept first with the curvature of the Earth, and it turns out that it has nothing to do with curvature. It's just your perspective, because if you watch a ship disappear over the horizon and you take a very high power zoom, that people didn't have a few hundred years ago when that whole theory was invented. If you zoom back in on that ship, it pops back up because it's not disappearing over the curve, it's disappearing out of your physical ability to see it.
Right.
So I had to throw that out, and that made me question the whole concept altogether. And then I had to look into NASA and how credible NASA is. And to be honest with you, NASA is it's a hoax factory. Like, you can start with the moon landings, and I think a lot of people realize the moon landings were fake, but then they don't take it a step further to look at all the other concepts that they've created through the NASA system, right? And there's specifically with the photo, right? There's what do you call it? There's actual like admissions that those were composites. Like the NASA was creating composites. The Hubble Space Telescope doesn't actually take pictures that, like, you don't see, like, you see a picture from the Hubble Space Telescope. It's not actually a picture. It's a composite. It's literally like a Photoshop picture they've created. You understand? So what they're presenting as what's out there in space is actually Photoshop. And there's even a picture of the Earth that's really famous. And I don't know if you know about Photoshop. Do you ever use Photoshop?
I actually I did Photoshop for 5 years, man. So I'm proficient in Photoshop, man.
You know the clone stamp tool?
Yes, sir.
There's clone stamps on images of the Earth that NASA presents as real, where you have like very distinctive cloud patterns that they just got lazy and they cloned the same exact pattern. There's, it's a really vast amount of evidence at this point. Like, when you look into it, you'll realize NASA is lying about everything. Even it's funny, even the word NASA, let me show you something interesting, okay?
Please.
I'll put it on screen share. Like, why did they choose this name, right? And we know these people are involved, like, astronauts and stuff. They're involved in esoteric, schools, secret societies. You don't get to those levels of society without knowing something of the, Kabbalah and whatnot. So they understand, like, symbolism. Let me know when you see that.
Yeah.
And this is the word NASA in Hebrew. Check out what it means.
Holy shit.
And when you're doing witchcraft, most people use Hebrew in witchcraft because it's the original language. It's the purest language for invocation, so that's just a little hint at what's going on with NASA.